All right, welcome back. The Virus Podcast, episode 70. Appreciate you guys' patience. Kind of took us a little while to get started there. Thanks to Charles, we got through some of these hiccups here and got us rolling. So, real quick here, if you're new to this podcast, this is basically not a coronavirus podcast. I know it's called The Virus, but it's not a coronavirus podcast. So we basically have contagious combos and viral viewpoints, talk about self-improvement, current events, things of substance, things that are relevant, and, you know, just good, profound conversations to have and bring into the podcast. So you can find us on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube for live streams, posted content on Instagram, Spotify, and Twitter. And so today's episode, I know it says 69, but it's actually episode 70. Apparently I can't count very well. So, but we got on Charles Hearn today to join us. How you doing, Charles? Welcome to the show, man.
Man, I'm great. Couldn't be better, man. Weather's great out in Colorado for once. It's not snowing or freezing, so we're good, man.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to have you, man. And I appreciate you, taking the time. We're all busy, so I get it, and I understand that, sometimes people got to carve out that time. So I really appreciate you taking the time, setting this up with us, and chit chatting. So, welcome.
Hey, man. I'm glad you invited me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I got basically a ton of questions, and a lot of it is really self-improvement related, because from what I don't know you that well, but from what I do know of you, from just the quick, brief moment that we met in Miami, and kind of seeing your content that you post, it seems like you're highly involved in self-improvement. And so it's just right up my alley. I really appreciate that. And so I feel like I can relate with you on that level, most definitely.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We're just trying to be the best we can be, and trying to help others do the same. It sounds like you guys are right on the same page with us, and can't ask for any more, man. Just getting yourself around the right people and doing the right things, leaving the best legacy you can leave. I think that's what everybody should strive for.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You said it best. I think, I met, so just to give you guys catch you up to speed, I met you at the 10X Growth Conference back in mid-March. So it's been not even a couple months now, really. So it's very, very recently. And I did meet, I met a ton of people, as you may have as well. I mean, there's just a huge abundance of just solid individuals, a ton of entrepreneurs, people that are, kind of doing the same thing we're doing, really just looking to get some guidance, get some tips, and follow those people that have been really successful in the paths that they've chosen, and, just trying to follow somebody who's done it and, made some mistakes, and, kind of getting the paved the way, I guess, as you will. But yeah, out of all the people that I did chat with, you definitely stood out to me as one of, there's probably 2 or 3 individuals that I can think of that really stood out to me, and you're one of those individuals. So that's why I thought it'd be great. And then your willingness to come on the podcast, I was like, yeah, that's great, man. Let's do this. So
right, yeah. No, I appreciate the kind words, and like I said, it's a pleasure to be here. I do remember talking to you there by the pool, man. We had some good conversation, and there's some great people in the 10X community with Grant Cardone and them. So anybody that's listening to the podcast tonight, if you're looking to improve your life, I would highly suggest that you stay, on this podcast, stay involved with everything that Benjamin's doing, and get involved with the 10X community. There's lots of like-minded people out there that are just, like Ben said, just trying to get out there and improve their life to the maximum. And that's what we hope everybody wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. What a great message too, man. Is just a ton of value. And so I think there's a lot of lost people out there. And so just like I said, just getting some guidance, man. And we're all looking for something, even the people that are successful, right? Looking to improve.
Yeah, man. It never ends,
Exactly. That's a good mentality to have too. Just, just willing to learn, and knowing that there's so much to learn. It's definitely the individual that thinks he knows it all or can't learn anymore is stuck in life, and they've hit a roadblock. They're not going to progress, right?
Right. If you're the smartest person in the room, they say that you're in the wrong room. So
yeah, I've heard that. Nice. So why don't we, let's just start off with like, so what's your story, Charles? Like, what should people know about you and kind of your journey, up to the point in your life where you're at right now?
Man, little funny story. I never was that great in school or anything. I don't believe that it was because I couldn't be. I think it's because I chose not to. I never was one of those students that was out there making a ton of great grades and making his parents proud that way. In fact, it's more of the opposite. I didn't even play sports until I was like 16, 17 years old. I was always skateboarding. That was my thing, believe it or not. And, my family's Air Force, so we moved around a whole lot. And, I was more of a rebel child. And so ended up going to college to try to make them proud, try to do the right thing. And that just wasn't for me, and started my first business when I was in college, flipping things off Craigslist. At that time, Facebook Marketplace and all that just wasn't around at that time. It was Craigslist and meeting sketchy people, so
right.
That was kind of my gig, because my parents were like, look, man, if you want to go and be a big boy, then you're going to live life like a big boy. You're going to pay your own bills and you're going to, put your way through school. So, at that time, a lot of my friends from Tennessee, they, their parents are paying for everything. And, I'm over here trying to work 2-3 jobs and make this thing work, and realize that working those jobs wasn't for me either. I just didn't like a traditional job at all, no matter what. So I kind of landed on serving, because that was somewhat flexible. And then on the side, I'm hustling this stuff on Craigslist, and lo and behold, there was a Craigslist ad that it says make $2,400 in a week, every week or more, free travel, free food, and all expenses paid, something crazy like that. It just looked like your typical scam.
Right.
Of course, I reached out to these guys. It was a bunch of older men, and they were in timeshare. And so at that time, I'm 20. I don't even know what timeshare is. I've never even heard of a timeshare. But I was, eager to make money, wanted something different, and had some on and off jobs in between the serving and the Craigslist stuff, selling knives door to door, selling other, cold call programs and stuff over the phone. And just none of it ever clicked. And then when I saw that ad, of course, I'm thinking it's a scam, but hey, what the hell? I ain't got nothing to lose. So I called these guys up and I said, hey, what's the deal with this? What is a timeshare? And is this ad real, or are you just trying to get people to call you? And they were like, no, it's very real. They were like, you can make $2,400 a week. And in fact, if you don't make $2,400 a week for us, you won't be working for us very long. And I was like, hold on a second. Are you serious? And he was just like, in fact, I'm so serious, you can meet us tomorrow at Chili's. We're going to go there for a team meeting. And the following day, we're going to North Carolina. And if you got what it takes, kid, you can come with us. And I was like, okay. So showed up to Chili's. And like I said, it's a bunch of older men. And they were running a sales team for another company out of Texas at the time, and essentially sold my way in the door. And I went to North Carolina with those guys. And it's actually a funny story. They say don't get in the car with strangers. These guys were driving down to North Carolina, and they were like, hey, we'll pick you up at 5 a.m. And I was just like, all right, whatever, like 5 a.m. Or I haven't woken up at 5 a.m. forever. I'm sleeping in. And at that time, I'm thinking, I don't know these guys, but I'm going to give it a shot. And so I don't think I've ever told anybody outside my inner circle this story. I think it'd be entertaining for the listeners here, since we had some technical difficulties. I'll try to make up for lost time here.
Nice.
I actually brought a knife with me, like a long ass knife, and I had it in my bag, under my shirt and everything. And I don't know these guys. I'm 20. These guys are like in their 50s or older. And we're headed down to North Carolina. We get down to the gas station, and lo and behold, these guys are all cool, man. They're laid back. They're cool. I'm thinking, damn, I was overthinking it. Get out the gas station, forget all about it. As soon as I get out of the car we were in, the knife falls out. The guys look down. They're like, hey, bud, you dropped your knife. I'm like, felt so embarrassed. I felt like a dog with his, like ears back, tail between his legs. I'm thinking, damn, these guys really not legitimate. They're not trying to do anything funny or anything. So I felt bad, but long story short, ended up going down there. I did make a little over $2,400 that week, and on their sales model and their system.
Nice.
They do a lot of high ticket sales, and so my first week, like I said, do a little over $2,400. Realized, okay, what they're doing is real. And just so happened the week that I started with them, they were driving. But per usual, they're flying. And the company, the corporate office, pays for everyone's flights, pays for the hotels, pays for any expenses that you have on the road. They pay for your food while you're there. And they just go city to city nationwide selling timeshare programs, vacational programs. And at that time, I'm new to the game. I didn't really know much, what to think about it. But here we are 10 years later, and I run the #1 timeshare cancellation business on the planet. So I went from selling timeshare to getting people out of timeshare. And I've started this company back in 2018. It's called Timeshare Help Source. And we don't sell timeshare products. We don't do anything like that. The only thing that we do is cancel them, because from the time I got in the game into where I'm at today, I realized that timeshare is much more of a bad thing than it is a great thing. And it's definitely not an investment, no matter what anybody tells you. If they tell you it's an investment, ask them what it's worth right now if they try to sell it, and then tell them to go sell it and get that money. And they'll find out that what they thought is not true. Because to be an investment by definition, it has to go up in value over time, and a timeshare does not go up in value over time. That's quite the opposite. So with that being said, we're getting folks out of them. It's been a wild ride, all the knowledge that I've gotten since then, and we're looking to expand our business, and that's where you met me, down at GrowthCon.
Yeah.
We had just opened up our second location in Knoxville, Tennessee. That's where I went to school, and now I'm out in Colorado Springs, and this is where our corporate office sits. So we've got our second location. We're planning to open up our third, and we're doing a lot of programs with Grant and Brandon Dawson, Cardinal Ventures, all that. And we're really just trying to expand the company right now. So that's where we're at. So that's just a little bit of backstory and crazy knife story.
Yeah, dude. Oh, my God. That's hilarious, man. Oh, thanks for, catching me up to speed on basically, it sounds like, because that was one of my questions, how you got into the profession. And what is a timeshare for the people that are, scratching their head like, I don't even know what a timeshare is.
Right. So a timeshare is fractional real estate. So if you think about, if you want to go vacation, let's say Hawaii, that's a lot of people dream of going to vacation in Hawaii. Well, imagine having a vacation home in Hawaii or Florida or wherever you dream of going on vacation. Maybe you're not a beach person. Maybe you like Colorado, where I'm at right now, and you want to have a condo or a cabin up in Breckenridge so you can go snowboarding every year. Well, those are normally $1 million or more in those locations that I just mentioned. To have a very nice house in Breckenridge, right next to the slopes, it's going to cost you a lot of money. Yeah. And let's say you're an average individual and you don't have a lot of money to blow on a place in Breckenridge, but you want to go. So a timeshare is the ability to have a week or more of vacation time at a condo/cabin, resort. They break them up into a lot of different things, but normally it's a resort. So the resort will sell you a week's time worth of vacation. And by time, I mean, in the old days, they used to sell them in weeks. You would buy 1 week at a resort. There's 52 weeks in a year. And what they'll do is they'll sell you one. Now, depending on what week you buy, that would determine how much it costs. If you wanted ski season, for instance, then that's obviously going to cost more than dead of summer in the middle of the mountains. People want to come to the mountains when it's snowing. They want to see it. It's beautiful. They want to snowboard and ski and do all those things that they don't get to do somewhere else. So they base the pricing on when you buy in the year and then how big the unit is that you want to buy. So if you just wanted a 1-bedroom because it's just you and one other individual coming on a regular basis, then great, it's going to cost you less money. Let's say $15,000. If you want to buy a 3-bedroom because you got a big family and you want to buy a timeshare in Breckenridge or Hawaii or wherever, they've got them everywhere for your family, and you guys want to go vacation at that resort each year, and you need a 3-bedroom, then it's going to cost you probably closer to $50,000, $100,000, depending on what company you buy with, what season, among many other factors, without making it too confusing. So essentially, it's a vacation home that you don't own. You just own a week of that vacation home so that you and your family can come vacation there without actually having to buy a home. Because a lot of people don't like to stay in hotels because they're very closed in.
Yeah.
The beds are on top of each other. There's not separate rooms for the kids if you have kids. There's no full kitchen. I know a lot of these places now, some of them are adapting to that, like Homewood Suites and some other places. They offer, a full kitchen and things like that. But for the same exact price, you can go stay at a resort if you buy into one of these timeshares. But the big problem with timeshare is that the sales individuals are telling these people that it's an investment. They're looking at it as it's an investment, like I would go buy a home. If I buy a home at $200,000 and then in a few years it's worth $400,000, that was a good investment. I doubled up my money. You'll never find a timeshare that you're going to buy for $50,000, $100,000, $10,000. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the number that you get it for. That's going to double in price or go up in price at all. And so there's a big misconception there, and a lot of people are buying into these things for the wrong reasons. But for very few individuals, I think it's about 15% of timeshare owners, they enjoy their decision and their timeshare. But there was a study done by the University of Central Florida that said 85% of timeshare owners that buy a timeshare regret their purchase. And there's currently 9.6 million timeshare owners in America. Wow. So that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the timeshare industry as a whole is worth over $10 billion right now as of this year. Well, as of 2019, actually, they broke $10 billion. That's bigger than the music industry, and that's bigger than Major League Baseball. So you're talking a lot of money, a lot of revenue, a lot of people involved in that organizational atmosphere of timeshare. So, I mean, there's a lot of different companies out there trying to do the right thing, and there's a lot of companies out there trying to do the wrong thing. And we're not out here trying to attack anybody or point the finger and say somebody's terrible or somebody's great. We're not trying to do either with our company. We're just looking for the individuals that feel like they're in a really crappy situation, and we're trying to help them out if they want help. And if they don't want help, hey, that's okay too. There's 9.6 million people out there that have one of these things, and apparently there's 85% of them unhappy. So there's plenty more people to talk to, and we're just looking for the ones that want help. So look at it as a hotel that you go to every single year for a week, and it's at a nice resort, super nice resort. The downfall is it's got mandatory fees whether you use it or not. So
yeah, they're kind of like insurance in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're paying a lot of money to get into this thing. They tell you you're going to own it, and then so let's say you pay $20,000 for a timeshare. Well, every single year there's a mandatory fee that's called a maintenance fee associated with it, and you have to pay that maintenance fee whether you use the timeshare or not. And the average maintenance fee right now is $1,000 a year.
Oh,
so let's say you borrowed, let's say you borrowed $20,000, and they wrote you up at 15% interest. At 15% interest at $20,000 on a 10-year note, you're going to pay back $38,000 and some change. It's almost double, almost $40,000.
Jeez.
That whole time you were paying for that timeshare, you had $1,000 a year maintenance fee that on average goes up 4 to 7%. So really, you've already put in $50,000 in 10 years. So when you think about it, it's not a smart decision, in my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor, and that's not financial advice. But at the end of the day, I look at those numbers and think that's silly. Why would anybody do that? But people don't look at it and base their decision on those numbers because that's not what they're shown when they're being pitched in the sales pitch at the resort. All they see is all the nice things going on and all the things they're being told they can have. And, it's to me, I call it a dog and pony show. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not here to bash any particular company or say that one's greater and one's not. But in my opinion, I would just advise anybody not to get involved at all. So, that way you don't have to talk to me later about helping you out.
Nice. That's good, man. It gives a lot of insight into the whole timeshare thing and kind of explains, I like your take on it and your approach. You're not really trying to attack anybody. You're not really trying to say what's good, what's bad, but you are trying to make yourself available to the 85% of people that are thinking it's a bad idea, or they're questioning the decision they made. Real quick on this, at what point in that journey from selling these, not so liked, at least in your opinion, not so smart decisions of selling the timeshare, what was there a moment that pivoted you to thinking like, I don't want to sell this anymore, and in fact, I want to get people out of this? Like, what was the catalyst for that?
Yeah, so there was a period that was, I would say, 3.5, maybe 4 years in. There was a company I worked for briefly that they were willing to help people get out of their timeshare if and only if they bought their program, their sales program they're selling, which was a vacation product, of course. I liked that more than what I was currently doing, but then I asked myself multiple times when I'm out on the tables and I'm talking to these clients, prospects, and I'm like, hey, this product over here sounds like it could really benefit you. But it sounds to me like you don't care about vacationing ever again in your life because you just had back surgery or whatever the thing is. Getting too old. We've done everything we want to do. Excuse me. We just don't want any kind of other program, but we would really love just to get rid of this timeshare. And the company that I was working for, their policy is they would not help anybody out of their timeshare unless they bought the product.
Okay.
I didn't agree with that. So I said, well, why don't I just go start my own deal and then we'll just get people out. We won't ever sell a product. That's not what we're trying to do. We're actually trying to help people. And that's why I named the company Timeshare Help Source. Nice. And a lot of people ask me, how did you come up with that name? And I'm like, because it's the help source for timeshare owners. If you've got a timeshare problem, we're the source for help, man. Like, it's real simple. Yeah. We're not going to try to sell you anything else. We're not going to try to say, hey, well, this could benefit. We don't care. If there's something else that could benefit you, I'm sure that you will do a great job at finding it because you're a smart individual. So we're not out there trying to push those products because I've always said if the product was so great, then why don't you use it? You're selling a product that you don't even use. So in my opinion, if a product's great, then the person selling it, they should be using it. Like when I worked at Cutco Cutlery selling those knives, I used those knives. I still have those knives in my kitchen today. I only sell products that I can get behind. Yeah. And for individuals that they don't believe in the product they're selling, then they need to get out of that space. They need to get out of that space because if you're doing great selling a product that you don't believe in, you're going to do immensely better at selling a product that you do believe in. And people will see it on your face. They'll see that you believe in what you're doing. Yeah. And once they see that confidence, you will close more deals. You will not be afraid to tell somebody when they're telling you, no, I don't want to do it right now. You will go that extra step to get them to do it right now because you know that they need it and it will benefit them and it will not let them down because you use it, you believe in it, and you understand that this is a great decision for them. But when you don't believe in something, you're like, yeah, I mean, it is a crappy product after all, so I don't blame you, But I mean, you got to get behind stuff that you would sell to your own grandma. That's my motto. If you can't sell it to your own grandma, if you're going to feel bad about selling it to your grandma, legitimately selling it to your grandma, then you shouldn't sell it. And so, that's really the pivotal moment for me is when this company wouldn't help people that desperately wanted help because they just wanted to make more money. They made more money selling the product they were selling than they did helping people out. And so they didn't want to do it. And so that's what our company is about, is just helping people that want help.
Nice. That's great, man. I like that you recognized that company was only willing to help if they got something out of it.
Right, right.
And as you know, the way that, as kind of what we've been taught by Cardone, we got to have that give mentality and stop always looking for opportunities to, see, well, what's in it for me out of this whole experience. So I appreciate the fact that you recognize that and you developed a higher purpose to actually do something that you thought was noble and just helping somebody, I mean, it's really what it was about. I like the saying about, if you can't sell it to your grandma or you wouldn't sell it to your grandma, you don't believe in it. That's great advice too. By the way, I used to sell Cutco knives also.
Yeah, man, that was a good gig. I hit #1 in the nation for a week back in I think 2012. It was a long time ago, man.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's a good experience.
Yeah, that was a good experience for me because that was like that was one of those things where I was like, this is great, but I need something more.
Yeah.
And because that was my first taste of like actual cold sales, like walking up on people's door and like banging on their door saying, "Hey, Susie across the street told me that you'd be kind enough to let me do my presentation for you. You don't have to buy anything." But by the time I left, they were buying stuff, so
yeah,
it was a great gig. But that's kind of what led me into doing the other stuff that I ended up doing. And I suggested everybody do something like that. That's a great experience, like you said.
Yeah. Anything that, is sales related, even if it's a bad sales job, kind of like, referring to your timeshare experience, I'm sure there's a lot of value that you got out of that, even though that wasn't the path you wanted to take, right?
Yeah. Man, I joke around a lot. So if you guys want to learn how to sell anything, just go do some timeshare training. They'll train you for free.
Nice.
They'll train you for free, because they really are great, man, at selling. They are. Now there's a lot of people out there that do what we call pitch and heat, and then just straight up lying to somebody.
Yeah.
Pitch and heat. But I mean that's in every industry. But talking about just sales training in general, timeshare people get trained very, very well. It really doesn't matter which company they choose to go with. So if they go with just one of the bigger names, doesn't really matter. They're going to train them, to a T, man. It really is good training for them. And that is one thing I can say that was positive about that experience. But like I said, I can't really bash everything on all the guys and all the teams and companies I worked for out there, because without that stuff, I never would have been able to build what I have now. And we wouldn't be able to help the people that were helping. So I won't bash it too much, but I will say, there's a lot of guys out there that are just doing the wrong thing. But like I said, there's people doing the wrong thing in every profession. Even in the church, even in the medical field, churches, you name it, there's bad people everywhere. So like I said, I think the goal is just to find more good people and stick close to them and stay in the community with them. And,
yeah, that's great, man.
Make hard decisions, man. The more you investigate, the less you lose. That's another one of my sayings. So
nice. Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, cool, man. I think I want to hit you with some other kind of questions, like I don't know, regarding like 10X and things like that. You know what I mean? Like that seems to be a big part of your life. So
sure.
And mine too. So I'm interested to know what's been going on. Let me just ask more of a basic question. Who are your like three, off the top of your head, without thinking too much about it, who are your three most influential people that have impacted your life in the most positive way?
Dan Pena, Ty Lopez, and I would say Brandon Dawson.
Nice. Damn, I thought you were going to sneak in Cardone, but you got Dawson over there.
so Cardone would be fourth, because Dan Pena is a different animal than anybody else that I've seen. That guy's intrigued me since the time that I saw him. That he is not for weak stomach people.
Oh yeah,
he is not for what he calls a snowflake. If you're sensitive, you don't like swearing. If you have any sensitivity in you at all, you probably shouldn't watch Dan Pena. But his material is amazing, and I don't think enough people know about it. But if you can get over the sensitive stuff that you may or may not care about when he talks and the things he does, his information is incredible.
Yeah,
that guy is he's crazier than most. I'll just put that.
Oh yeah.
Without using some other words that I wanted to use, he's crazy. But the guy's insanely smart. He's a go-getter. He's after it. He's the pit bull of going after and closing deals and getting money. He's not a joke. Highly encourage anybody to go watch the documentary that Brian Rose from London Real did on him. He's the reason that London Real is what it is today, which is one of the biggest podcasts on the planet.
Yeah.
Brian Rose did a documentary on Dan Pena, and it was when Dan Pena first came to see Brian, really was not the person he is today at all.
Right.
when he met Dan, Dan told him, he said, "I'll change your life if you come to my castle," because he literally lives in a castle in Scotland. And he said, "If you come to my seminar, my 7-day seminar, I'll change your life, Brian." And he kind of like laughed it off, but he knew he was serious. And so he ended up going, and he said, "I'll come if I can document the whole process." So he documented everything. And that it's called the $50 Billion Man on YouTube.
Yeah, I've seen part of it. Yeah. It's
right.
Good stuff.
If anybody listening wants to go get, their mindset right, go watch that podcast. That's with Dan Pena. Ty Lopez, just because this is one of the first guys that really got me into reading a lot, trying to educate, like self-education, just trying to educate myself more and more. He wasn't so much on the, sales, close deal, like a lot of Cardone's programs, which if anybody doesn't understand sales or wants to get better at sales and closing, Cardone is the best place to go for that, hands down. But as far as influential, I'm going to say Dan Pena and Ty Lopez. And then, like I said, the third one is Dawson, because I never knew who Brandon Dawson was. And without Cardone, I wouldn't know who Brandon Dawson is. But when I think about somebody that has changed a lot of things in my head when they talk, and the amount of content that I've sought out from them, I mean, it's Brandon Dawson. I mean, I've went and watched all of this guy's old videos. I mean, if you go to his YouTube channel right now, he only has probably like 1,100 subscribers, and a lot of his videos only have a few, like a little over 100 views, and some of them have a few hundred views. It's not like there's a massive audience there that's paying attention to that stuff, but that information that he's giving away for free is insane. I can't even believe that stuff's still on YouTube for free, and it's just there for anybody to go listen to. And his principles that he's gathered from a lot of his books and his mentors that he talks about all the time. And if you've listened to any more of Brandon Dawson other than him speaking at 10X GrowthCon, you'll know that he has a select core group of mentors that he's been learning from that are insane, big authors or entrepreneurs that have created massive amounts of success and wealth. And those principles that he's brought from them and applied to his own stuff is the stuff that he's teaching with Cardone Ventures, as being Cardone's partner. And I've done a lot of their programs now. I've done their marketing program for 5K. It's a 2-day program, 5K a seat. I've done I've already paid for their $37,000 2-day program, 360. We were supposed to be going down there this weekend, but I had some things come up with our business, and we're supposed to be putting on some meetings this week, and I cannot miss those. So I called them today and I rescheduled those. I've done 10X Pitch with Brandon Dawson. I mean, that stuff, his material, man, for anybody out there that owns a business that wants to scale and blow up, I highly suggest anybody take advantage of that. So those are my three. And like I said, Cardone's fourth. Love that guy. I've been watching him for like 10 years now. He's amazing. But as far as influential on the things that I'm trying to accomplish at this point in my life, like those are the three guys I think about.
Nice. Yeah, dude, Brandon Dawson, impact. I mean, I hadn't heard about him until I went to 10X, and I did hear him speak there. And then I went to the 360, after that room where they all gathered in there. You were probably in there because you signed up for 360, right?
No, so I didn't go to the meeting. I actually went out to dinner with my wife. I just signed up.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I just, because, man, like I've been watching them for a while, because I signed up with the Accelerator program too. That's like a $17,000 program. And I did that with them, and I did that last October. And so I've seen Brandon speak a lot since the first time I saw him until the 360. And I was already thinking about doing the 360. But then when they came on stage and they were like, look, because it's GrowthCon, we're going to offer you a special of like, I think it was $37,000 for, like 10X stages, a VIP seat to their interactive boot camp, which I had already done before, but it came with it. So I was like, what the hell, I was going to sign up again anyway. So signed up for that. And then you got the 360. So they were doing like a special for GrowthCon, and I just signed up. I didn't even go to the meeting to talk about it because I had already been thinking about it and knew what was all involved with it. And as soon as they added those two other things in there, I was like, it's a no-brainer for me, because I'm going down to 10X stages at the end of this month in person with Pete Vargas.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna be back in Miami this month. So, did you sign up at GrowthCon for the 360?
No, I didn't. I signed up for the licensee program and business summit, man. So yeah, I got a couple other things going on right now. So I've been really heavily training on the licensee program, which has been really cool so far.
I bet, man.
Yeah,
I've got friends that signed up for that, and they love it.
Yeah, absolutely love it. I think it's a good path for me because I like helping people, and this is something that is going to kind of gear me towards that as far as being able to help other businesses that are struggling with sales revenue. And me applying all of Cardone's techniques to my own business has helped me triple my revenue and keep going. Every year I get more and more and more. So it's like you said, I'm consuming the content that I'm pitching. So if it's worked for me, I want to provide it,
Right. Awesome.
Dan Pena, I love that guy. And by the way, yeah, I'm very familiar with Brian Rose and Dan Pena and that whole $10 billion or $50 billion man. And, all the I love Brian Rose too,
he's cool.
He's very cool.
Right for mayor, man.
He what? I know. I see that. Yeah. That dude's doing big things, man.
Yeah. I think he's going to win too.
It sounds like it. If not, he's treating it like he is.
Right. Perception is reality.
Right. Exactly. But Pena, you're right. He's a different animal. The thing I like about Dan Pena is he's kind of like a slap in the face. For me, that's how I viewed him because he's very, very aggressive, very assertive, very offensive. But sometimes people need that. You know what I mean? And he just tells you to, tells you like it is, gets you to really face your demons by having you confront it. Stop acting like a complainer, a whiner. Make some decisions, do some stuff. It's just his real hard, rugged approach is not for everybody, but the people it is for, they really gravitate towards that. And so, for me, it was just like Dan Pena was like a slap in my face, like, oh, wow. Yeah, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that guy's rocket fuel for me, man. I mean, one of the most impressive things I think anybody that listens to this podcast later will or even that's on right now, I keep forgetting we're live. But one of the things that he said that was so impressive to me, and I mean, this is so useful for anybody in their life, is he said, I want you to make a list Saturday to Saturday.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Of all the people that you talk to, whether it's on social media, it's text message, it's a hello in person, a phone call, anything. Any interaction that you have Saturday to Saturday with whoever they are, doesn't matter. Put them on the list. And he says, then I want you to take the list of goals that you have, and then I want you to put it side by side on this list and go down, and I want you to tell me which interactions that you had out of all those people Saturday to Saturday improved your likelihood of achieving your goals.
Yeah.
And he said, you will be astonished at how little any of these people have to do with the goals you've written down over here. And he said, you want to know why you're a failure? That's why. He says, you're not associating yourself with people that help you obtain your goals. You're over here associating with people that have nothing to do with you improving your life. And I mean, dude, that was a huge wake up call for me because I thought about that and I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa. Think about all the people you text, email, you talk to on social media, all these things. And I mean, it's not so much that you should be a complete savage and never talk to anybody if they're not, helping you achieve your goal. But you really need to think that you would rather have, 4 quarters than 100 pennies. You want to have an influential circle. You don't want to have a cage that's holding you down and trapping you. You want to be able to succeed. And to me, what I found is the only people that are going to help you succeed are those that are trying to grow themselves.
Yeah.
And so when we, are on these calls with Cardone Ventures, and the one thing I always hear them talk about, people always ask them all the time. It's probably the most asked question that I hear anybody ask the Cardone Ventures team, or they complain about in their business to Cardone Ventures and they try to get them to fix it. Is they're like, how do you find great people? How do you find great employees? And they say, well, guys, you don't find them. You find people who are trying to obtain their goals, and then you give them an avenue to obtain those goals, and they will be great people inside your organization as you mold them. Yeah. They were like, you don't find great people because great people are already busy doing something on their own. They're already busy doing something for someone else. Yeah. They're striving to be better. And so you want to find these individuals not on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace or Indeed.com or wherever you hire your people. You're not going to find them there. You're going to have to sit them down and make sure they're wanting to grow and they're wanting to aspire to be something greater. And then it's your job to give them a vehicle to grow and be able to attain those goals. So I think a lot of people don't understand that. And, I'm really hoping that anybody that listens to this catches on and they're like, hey man, look, I need to get involved with the 10X community, Cardone Ventures, Cardone Enterprise, and then go check out some Dan Pena and get fired up, man.
Yeah, let's hope so. And the way you put it was a lot more elegantly than his version of it. You know, I mean, he'll say, you know, if I remember his verbiage, he was like, I want you to make a list of everybody you tweet fucked, link fucked, Skype fucked. Right. And then, you know, even he's a complete savage, dude. He has no filter.
No, I mean, even when he talks about his own mother, he doesn't. So, I mean, but that's Dan, you know, you just gotta love him for who he is and take the knowledge where you can get it. And, you know, another great thing he does is he produces all of his content and then puts it on the internet for free. Doesn't even care. Yeah. He's like, dude, we got enough money. I don't need to make courses and do all this and make money. It's there for free. If you want it, then you can go get it, and it's your job to do something with it. If you don't, then oh well, I don't care. You know, yeah. And that's just how he is. He's a savage, but I mean, he can really help you change your life. Ty Lopez, that's a great guy. I know there was a lot of people always trying to say that guy's a scam and all that. I can personally tell you, Ty Lopez is not a scam. I've made tons and tons and tons and tons of money off his programs. That guy's awesome. I know for the last year or so, he hasn't done really anything. Today was his first day getting on live in a long time.
Oh,
he
really?
He's in Sweden right now. He's in Stockholm. And he goes on live, and guess who pops in? Grant Cardone.
Nice.
Yeah. So like Ty's been living out of the country like for a long time now. And like he just comes to New York, does some deals with Blackstone and all those guys, and then he just goes back out to either Sweden or wherever he's been staying I think he was in Costa Rica or something crazy. He's just been down there kicking a soccer ball around, surfing, dude, loving life, you know?
Yeah.
That's what everybody should dream of doing, man. Getting your life together, making you some money, making your family successful, and then living the life you want to live. And he's a prime example of that, and he's out there doing his thing, loving life, and couldn't be happier to see him. But I want him to come back to the internet, you know, because I genuinely like that guy a lot, and like the knowledge that he gives away for free is insane. And then his paid programs are worth its weight in gold for sure. But you have to do something with it. A lot of these people buy these programs and claim they don't work. It's the same with Cardone stuff. A lot of people have said that stuff about Cardone stuff, but it doesn't matter who it is. If you buy their program and you don't implement the stuff they're teaching, you don't do anything with it, you're not going to get any results. It doesn't matter how much you paid. It'd be $1 or it could be $1 million. You don't do anything with it, nothing's going to change, and you're going to think it's the program, but really it's you. You know?
Yeah, that's huge advice right there, man. Because there is and you know that could also contribute to the amount of people that project that things are a scam, when very well it probably would have worked if you just start taking action and putting this stuff into your life. So that's great. Right. That's great advice.
Right.
Yep. No, I know exactly what you're saying, but yeah, Pena's one of my favorite. He is. I think he stole this quote from somebody, but you know when he always says, "Show me your friends, I'll show you your future." That stuck with me. Big time. And a matter of fact, even now, because I followed Dan Pena for a couple years now, and even now those sayings will come to me, and I'm like, when I'm spending too much time around people who aren't kind of in alignment with where I'm going, I'll think of that, and I'm like, you know what I mean? I gotta put that time in check. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I think it's all a balance. You know, like I said, I don't think you should cut off everybody in your life if they're not trying to freaking smash you to the moon. You know, you're going to have people in your family that are they're not like that, and that's okay. But like you said, you want to keep it in check and not spend too much time with it. I think that's the ultimate. It's a yin yang, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. All right. Let's see. So you kind of already answered that for me. I like this because I'll ask you one question, but it answers like 3 in a row. I'm just like, oh shit. It's such a lot of content in just that. So since we're talking about like in self-improvement, I mean, we've kind of already touched a lot of this, but I would just say like, what's like one little golden nugget that you would probably, you know, of advice that you give to someone looking to self-improve, like someone who, you know, is just had we all have that voice, right? In the back of our head. We're like, man, I just don't feel like I'm living my full potential. I know I could be doing something better, something more instead of this, you know, minimum wage job or whatever. Well, what would you say to that person if someone walked up to you and said, "Look, man, I'm really wanting to self-improve"? What would you say to that person?
You know, I'm gonna kind of break this down into two different things, because I want to hit two different audiences, because I think a lot of the time when somebody asks somebody this kind of question, they're just like, oh, well, they just need to start. They just need to do it.
Yeah.
Or they give some kind of broad answer, and it's not really influential to them. And so or they're like, well, follow your passion. So I'm going to break this down into two different parts, because I've got a little brother that worked at my company for some time. He's not with us right now for this very reason. And this is why I want to answer the question this way. You've got the individuals out there who know, like, they want to be successful. They want to, they want to achieve something greater than what they're currently doing, like you mentioned, and they feel stuck. They don't know what to do. And then they hear this crap on the internet about follow your passion, do this, and it's just going to happen. To me, in my opinion, that's not how it works. And my little brother, he wants to do something that he loves. And he keeps telling me, but I don't know what that is. And so where I want to go with the question is to the people who want to achieve something great. They don't want to do something they hate while they're doing it, but they don't know what they love either. You've got to get out there and you've got to get started doing different things that make you uncomfortable. If you want to be successful, you've got to look at people that are in successful positions, whether that's a career path or whether they're an entrepreneur or whatever that thing may be. If they're a professional basketball player, it doesn't matter. Look at whoever is in whatever field, and you have to be practical about this. You can't say, okay, well, I'm 5'2", I'm going to go be the quarterback of the New England Patriots, but I've never been a high school champion. I've never went and played any college ball. Be realistic with yourself. Like I'm not going to be a QB, in the NFL. I know that, dude. I'm way too small. I'm only 5'11". Like I've never done that long enough. Like I'm not going to be like, well, Tom Brady made a bunch of money, I'm going to try to be Tom Brady. No, you got to be real honest with yourself and say, okay, I want to make a lot of money and I want to be happy, but I don't know what that is. So the only way you're going to find out what that is to go do something you haven't done before. But when you pick those things like a car salesman, dude, don't go sell used cars. Don't go to the used car lot. Go sell Porsche. Go sell Lamborghini. Go to the top tier of what you are thinking you want to try out and go apply there. It doesn't matter if you don't have experience. If you have the right attitude, they will hire you because they can train you. You can hire on attitude and train on the rest. Because if they've got a great attitude, then that company will be able to mold them. So if you don't know what you love, then go after something that does pay a lot of money. You don't have to have the experience. You just have to have courage and the confidence to go up and try it, and then have that great attitude when you get there. Because if you go and try a bunch of different things, let's say I try cars. I know the guy at the car lot is making $300,000 a year. Would $300,000 a year change my life? Yeah, it would. Okay, great. Go try to learn from that guy. Go try selling cars. And if you don't like selling cars, go to the next profession. Maybe it's selling medical equipment. Maybe it's doing something else. Maybe it's doing, I don't know. It's different for everybody on the things that they're willing to go try. But go out there and try those things. And I try to explain this to my brother, and, he's just like, yeah, but I just want to do what I love. And I'm like, you don't know what you love, and you're not going to know until you go try stuff. Because a lot of the time, people will get into something and they'll think they don't like it. But as soon as they get confidence in it, they don't like it. This is what I try to explain to my brother. They don't like it because they don't know it.
Yep.
And if you don't know it, you can't be confident in it.
Yep.
And if you're not confident, you're not going to like doing it. You're not going to like talking to girls if you're not confident talking to girls.
Yeah.
You're just not. It's the same in everything else in life. If you don't have confidence, then you're not going to like doing it. And you can't have confidence if you don't know how to do it. To know how to do it, you've got to learn from somebody. And you've got to implement those things and do it and do it and do it. And so a lot of the time they'll get into something and think they don't like it. Okay, they start getting a little bit better. They start getting a little bit better. Next thing you know, they're making more and more money. That's making them feel more confident, more better inside. They're like, oh, man, this is great. And then next thing you know, they're leading the pack. They're loving it. They're a boss for the first time in their life. They're managing a team for the first time in their life. It's like, dude, I wouldn't trade this for the world. But you don't know unless you go try. So that would be the first thing. Now, the other side of that question is if you do know what you love, like let's say I love sales. I want to be in sales. There's a lot of different avenues in sales, a lot of different ways that you can go. You could, like I mentioned, with the cars, you could sell cars, you could sell houses, you could sell medical equipment, be like me and sell timeshare exits. You know, you could sell a lot of different things out there. But you got to think about, what is that one thing that I want to do? Okay, I want to be Tiger Woods. All right, I want to be a professional golfer. Then you don't go learn professional golf from Michael Jordan. You don't go learn golf from Harden or Curry or any of these guys. You go learn from a golfer. And if you want to be like Tiger, you need to be studying Tiger. What did he do? What were his habits? How did he work out? How much did he work out? How long did he practice? What did he do? Same, if you want to be Kobe, how long did that guy shoot in the gym with nobody else there? Was he there before the rest of the teammates, and was he there after? How did he carry himself? What's his attitude? You have to literally find that person that you want to be like. You can't just say, well, I want to be like them, and so I'm going to dress like them. Like, I think that's the problem with a lot of people with the whole law of attraction.
Yeah.
Is they think law of attraction is, if I say every day that I want to be rich, that just I'm going to be rich. That's not how it works. You do have to have affirmations, and you do have to speak them out loud, and you have to believe them. But more importantly, if you want to be rich, first of all, you got to get detailed. What is rich? See, because when I say I want to be Kobe Bryant, I'm very detailed about who I want to be. But now you've got to get granular with it. How long did he practice? How much did he practice? What did he do? How did he carry himself? How does he dress? How does he talk? How does he walk? All these different things go into that. And it's the same with being rich. What is rich to you? Is it $100,000 a year? Is it $1 million a year? Is it 10 million? Whatever that number is, then you go find somebody that has done that. And then you look at them and you say, that guy right there dresses this way, speaks this way, does this, does that. Does he work out? Okay, great. What time? Is he getting up at 5 a.m.? You literally have to get granular and figure out, okay, this is what this person has done that I want to be like. I'm going to be like that person. You can't just say, I'm going to be rich. And then, law of attraction makes you rich. No, you have to talk like you're rich, dress like you're rich. More importantly, act like you're rich. Make decisions like you are a rich person. Would a rich person go do this tonight on Saturday night? Or would a rich person do this? I'm going to say they're probably not in the club throwing dollar bills, getting shit-faced drunk. I'm going to bet they're there at home working on their business in some form, fashion, or way. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
And so when you talk about what advice can you give somebody, I look at it like this: either you know what you want to do, or you don't. You just know you want to be successful in either one. Pick who you want to be like, and then model, mimic, and master that person. In the great words of Brandon Dawson, model, mimic, and master who that person is, what they do, and how they do it, and go do that. And don't give up, because it's not going to be as easy as just I want to be Kobe today, and then I'm just going to practice for this year, and then next year I'm good. No, like that guy is a workhorse, and if you want to be like them, then you're going to have to be a workhorse like them.
Yeah.
So, I think more people just need to get out there and they need to do more. Whether that's just trying odd jobs, but you don't want to just try odd jobs just because they're odd jobs. You want to pick specific things that are out there that pay a lot of money. Because when you nail on one that you like and you feel like you could be there and get better and better and better at, ultimately, you can't not make a lot of money, because you set yourself up for success in the beginning by only picking things that pay a lot of money. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to find out if I like serving today, and tomorrow I'm going to find out if I like laying tiles, and the next day I'm going to find out if I want to be an electrician. No, pick the things that are going to make the type of money you want to make, but you got to get granular. You got to think about the amount of money you want to make, and then find what professions or careers pay that kind of money, and then go try a bunch of different ones until you find one that you love, and then get great at it.
Nice. Yeah, that's fantastic advice, man. Yeah, I think people forget the taking action part. You know what I mean? That's the thing.
It's more hard.
Yeah.
You just got to do it.
Just got to do it. Yeah. You got to do it a lot too. You know what I mean? A lot of people
over and over and over.
Yep.
And like Brandon's been teaching us a lot of. I've got the book right back here. 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. It's one of probably Brandon's favorite book. He talks about it all the time. There's a law in there. It's the law of Big Mo. Essentially, once you get momentum, you do not slow up because you think you're getting you're getting ahead of the success. Keep it moving. Keep it pushing. Do not let off the gas. Once you get that momentum, that's when you speed up even more.
Yeah.
And that's how you grow real fast and get massive success in whatever you're doing, or if it's money, you make more money and, more confidence, whatever it may be for you.
Yeah. All the big players, they seem to have that message too. You know what I mean? Once you're on a roll, keep going, push harder. It's not a sign to relax a little bit because you feel like you're getting ahead. That's a sign that you need to dig deep and keep pushing, pushing.
Keep pushing. You'll find out what you can really do.
Exactly.
Really question.
Exactly. It's good stuff, man. Let's see. So this is kind of a cliche question, typical stuff, but I am curious, like, what would you consider one of your biggest regret or biggest failure, something that, you fell hard on and had to pick yourself up from?
In business or personal?
In business or both, whatever, you know what I mean?
Just because I always keep it real.
Yeah.
I'll say not treating the people closest to me and my family better. Making sure that we're all in tight and making sure we're all on the same page. And, taking, not necessarily taking care of those people, because my parents are some of those people that are on the list. And at that age, I'm not supposed to be taking care of my parents, but really, if you've got a family and you're being a problem child like I was, you really need to sit and self-reflect and know that your family is your family, and you need to let go of the pettiness and all the bullshit that you got going on, because you're stronger together.
Yeah.
Than you are apart. And when you got all these things going on in the back of your head, and I'm alone, nobody cares, and all this crap, and you're just like hating everybody and you're doing all this, it really makes it hard for you to be successful, because your family they're your biggest fans. Besides yourself, they're your biggest fans, whether you believe it or not, no matter what you got going on. And I think, growing up, I was always out to be like the lone wolf and didn't really give a damn whether anybody else was on board with, me or liked me or anything. And I think honestly, that's, if I could go back and change that and make sure that I'm in one cohesive unit with my family and making sure that they know, no matter what, I want all of us to be good. I want all of us to be okay. And that way we can all succeed together. I don't want to tear down everything that, I've got going on because I'm angry or I'm doing this or I'm doing that. Just work those things out, man, because those are your biggest fans. And then when you finally do succeed, if you don't have your loved ones around, then who are you going to share the success with? Because I don't care how much money you make and how much success you get. If you ain't got nobody to share it with that really genuinely cares about you, they don't care about the money, they care about you. It's going to be a tough realization for you. It's not even going to matter as much to you, because once you get there, you're just going to want more and need more. I mean, it's almost like when you're a kid and you got $20, you think $20 is a lot of money. Grandpa gives you $20, you're like, oh my God, I got $20. And then you grow up a little bit more, you get $100, like, oh my God, I got $100. Get a little older, dang man, I got 1,000. Man, I'm about to flex on them, And then you get 10 grand and you're just like, you get 10 grand a few times and you're thinking, oh, this really isn't a lot of money. It's always a stair step ladder, and success will always be that way too. And getting money will always be that way. It's a never ending cycle, but you're going to have, maybe your eyes on $1 million as your goal, or maybe it's your, 500 grand or whatever the number is for you. It's different for everybody. Maybe it's 100 million, it's $1 billion, whatever. That number is different. But once you get there and you got nobody around you, because you've pushed everybody away, being an asshole, it's not as enjoyable, I'll tell you that. And so I wish that growing up I would have been a lot more mature and fix things with those closest around me. And that could be your family. It could be, your friends, whoever it is that you really care about and that you love. Keep those people close to you, but make sure they're not dragging you down either and being trainers. Because like we talked about in the beginning of the podcast, if you're hanging around people that are, essentially holding you down, draining, being negative, they're not trying to succeed, you're probably not going to go very far. That's the main people that you're always around and the mindsets you're around. So in particular, I'm talking about family, but a lot of people maybe that don't feel like they have a family because maybe their loved ones passed and they've got these other individuals that are not their blood, but they are their family. There could be some confrontation there and they haven't talked in a while. And I highly encourage anybody to fix that stuff and get it on board because your mindset's not right when you got things going on like that. So get it right and keep it tight,
Nice. Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I think we could all relate to, having family turmoil like what you were discussing. I'm sure everybody's had that at one point,
Yeah, just get it right. It's not worth it. You never know when somebody's not going to be here, and you definitely want them to be a part of your success, whether you think you want them a part of it or not. You definitely will.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get selective with my questions because I could already tell I'm not gonna get to all of them. So I gotta pick and choose here. I'm gonna try to go for the ones that got some meat on it. So what's your vision for you, for your goal, for you and your company in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, I think we can achieve a 50 location deal. So our ultimate goal is to be 50 locations throughout the United States. And by locations, I mean part office stores, excuse me, to where individuals can come into, our location at any given point and say, hey, I live in this area. I want to do business with somebody local. So have 50 locations. We're working on our third one right now. I want the company to do over 10 million a year in revenue in the next 5 years. I think that's what we've got it mapped out to right now. Depending on if we stay on pace for getting those locations open, and depending on how much more our marketing increases, we may beat those numbers. We'll see. We're also launching a program right now where we're going to be doing free live events for owners all around the country. And that's for any timeshare owner that wants to come out and get educated or get help on their timeshare, what's going on with it, do you have issues, and if they want out, then we'll help them out live at the event. But they're at no obligation to do any kind of business with us. We're just going to put those live events on nationwide. We're going to be putting some teams out on the road starting as early as next week. And New York Weekly actually just wrote an article on us about that and published it yesterday. So we're going to be doing that. Those live events will hopefully be a lot like Grant Cardone's events and stuff that they put on for free, where they bring in people and they say, dang, these guys really know what's going on. They got a bunch of knowledge and they're really trying to help people out. I want to be more involved. And hopefully we'll get a bunch of leads from that, from people that want help, and ultimately that'll help grow our business and allow us to reach more and help more people.
Nice. That's awesome, man. So on the, obviously I met, in case you guys missed that, I met you at the 10X Growth Con. I don't know. Was that your first time to one of those?
So Growth Con, yeah. I've watched a bunch of the live stuff, but I've never been to a live event. I watched a bunch of the recorded stuff. So I've seen recorded Growth Cons from the past, but that was my first live one.
Nice. Yeah, mine too. So it's kind of cool that we were both there. But yeah, I got a ton of value out of that, but I wanted to know what kind of value you got out of it. So let me ask you some of the 10X Growth Con type questions. But first, when someone says, if someone asks you, I'm sure you've had this quite a bit, if you have any type of 10X swag or talk about 10X like I do, I've had this question a lot of times. If someone says, yo, what's 10X? What's this all about? What is your response to that?
So if someone asks me what 10X was and they don't know who Grant Cardone is, I say it's a philosophy that one of my mentors came up with that's blown up worldwide and changed thousands, if not millions of lives. And essentially what it means is taking your current goal, like your normal goal that you would set, you want to attain, and you say, okay, I want to make $1 million. Now that's my goal. If you times that by 10, then it would be 10 million. And then if you just hit the pedal to the metal and try to actually accomplish that 10 million goal, there's no way you don't hit $1 million. There's no way. Because if you're working like you want to make 10, you're definitely going to make 1. And so I look at it as a philosophy to really obtain the goals you're wanting to set. 'Cause I think a lot of times people set goals. Let's say they set $1 million and they really only make 500,000 because they were working like they wanted to make $1 million or how they thought they had to work to make $1 million. But if you work like you're going to make 10 million, well, and you're serious about it, you're definitely going to make 1. You might even make more than that. So I look at I look at it as a great philosophy for anybody that actually wants to achieve the things they say they can achieve.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Exactly. Yep. It's I mean, there's a lot of ways to put it. I like the way you put it too. That's it's a good way to describe it. I'm always coming up with different ways to describe it. Seems like so. It's almost like I get that question so much that I need to come up with a script.
Right. And I think more than that too, though, to add to it, it is a movement. It is a community of amazing people that are looking to better their lives, their businesses, and overall everything that goes on with them as an individual. And it's a great community. And there's tons of people in that 10X community that are willing to help you no matter who you are, where you're at, what situation you're in, how much money you have. They're willing to help you. And I highly suggest anybody that wants to improve their life, get in the 10X movement, whether you have money or don't, because there's a lot of free Facebook groups and other chat forums and things like that you can join. And I'm telling you right now, those people in there really do genuinely care about the individuals that are in that community, and they'll help you strive to achieve your goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, man. Definitely nothing but good people in that environment. Such a powerful, positive, just energy packed environment, atmosphere, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right. So like 3 words to describe your experience at 10X Growth Conference. What would those be?
3 words. I think if I had to choose 3 words to describe that, it would be massive growth now.
Okay.
Like
nice.
if you leave that event and massive growth right now is not on your mind, then you were asleep. You didn't pay attention. Like the people they bring on stage there and just the people that you see at the event, the individuals that you see at the event and talk to and hear some of the levels of success that is in that room, it just blows the lid off anything you thought was big that you were going to achieve. And you're just like, dude, I really got to blow this thing up massively and I got to do it now. Because these guys are so far ahead of where I even thought. Like, I thought what I wanted to do was big. Listen to some of these guys. Like, did you hear the girl? I had never heard of her. She was the lady that created women's Viagra.
Yeah, really good story.
Her story is nuts.
Yeah.
And this woman's like a multi-billionaire on stage, just hanging out, having a great time, and people just want $1 million. This woman has created massive wealth, and you're sitting here thinking like, if these people can do it, then I can do it. But I have to hit the gas right now. Like I can't stall any longer. So massive growth now is how I would describe that.
Nice. Yeah, I can't remember her name, but yeah, I really enjoyed her story, man. That woman, she put her foot down, and the story about how she was when she was selling her company, and they were throwing offers at her, like $500 million, $900 million. She's like, yeah, no, it's coming up short on $1 billion. She walks away from that offer, and then he comes back at her like $1 billion. Like she knew how to get what she wanted, and she knew how to leverage. So I really appreciated that story. I was like, damn, that's a powerful woman right there.
Got it sold for $1 billion, and then bought it back like $100,000 or something. Great. And now it's already worth it. Like rebuilt it back up, and it's worth a few billion again. That's great.
That is crazy.
That was an interesting story, man. I don't remember her name either, but that was a really great story. And that kind of thing just makes you think like, dude, I got to grow my thing massive, and I don't want to do it tomorrow. I want to do it now.
Yeah.
Because if these people do this, man, I can do this. But I got to get serious. Like I thought I was serious before. I thought my goals were big before.
Yeah.
You got to buckle down and get your nose down in the dirt.
Yeah,
You know?
those guys are giants that we were listening to on stage, man. They have achieved far greater success that I could only hope to attain if I put that type of effort in. I don't know if you remember listening to Glenn Sanford, the guy that Grant Cardone teamed up with the real estate.
Yeah, EXP Realty. Yeah,
EXP. Yeah, it's kind of weird, dude. After I left there, I see EXP all the time. I sold the job to a guy that works for EXP. He started talking about it a little bit, and I was like, wait a sec, I've heard of EXP. I was like, Glenn Sanford, right? He's like, yeah. And I started talking to him about Grant Cardone. He's like, yeah, dude, we know all about him. They just onboarded Grant Cardone's material and so yeah, it's really cool. And then lo and behold, my downtown office shares an office with EXP as well. And I was like, wait a sec, EXP is here too?
I noticed that we had a deal come through right before GrowthCon, and she's an EXP Realty girl.
Nice.
She's out of Florida, and she sent me an email after GrowthCon to check on her file, and it popped up EXP, and I was like, oh man, I saw the owner of your company. In fact, here's a screenshot of a book. So Glenn, for anybody listening, he's worth over $10 billion right now.
Yeah.
And he said this is his favorite book right here. So it's
Radical Management
on the camera, but it's called The Leader's Guide to Radical Management. It's by Stephen Denning, and he just shared this on Instagram. And he said that this book has a sequel to it, but this one in particular, he said, I've read over it several times, and I've implemented everything in this book into EXP Realty to build up my business. And that guy's worth over $10 billion. So I highly suggest anybody get that book and read it, because that guy's awesome.
Yeah, really sharp guy too. Started out that business with a $150K loan and $10 billion. That's crazy, man. He's from their company's based out of Bellingham, which is about 3 hours north of here. So when he said that, I was like, whoa, dude, that's my home. I actually have a little bit of property on the Native American tribe there at Bellingham, where there actually are. I was like, that's just too close to home. That's so ironic.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, that guy's a beast.
Absolutely. Right on, man. Who was your favorite guest?
Ooh.
And why?
That's tough.
Yeah, dude, that is tough.
I love those guys. I want to say that's so.
It is. Well, God, I hit you with the hard one.
Man, I want to say I've got two guys in mind, and I like them for way different reasons, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the most entertaining that I saw up there that I really liked. I mean, of course, Tyrese made me laugh and all that stuff. Like him and Fox, that was hilarious. And then Kevin O'Leary, I love that guy. That's why he was in my mind. But I'm going to say like my favorite person to watch while they were up there. It probably has to be Mike Rowe. Like,
okay, nice.
The unexpected, like, because I grew up watching Discovery Channel. I'm from Alabama, and so I grew up watching Discovery Channel. Me and my brother, and Mike Rowe used to be on Dirty Jobs all the time. That was our show. We were always watching it after laying down, getting ready for bed, and just love that guy. But hearing his story about how he was in the opera, he's like doing all these awkward things that you would never think. Like he's getting on late night TV doing QVC.
Yeah,
he's doing all these things. It's just like so not Mike Rowe. That I'm thinking like he did the opera for I think he said like 8 years or something. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah,
he's in parades dressing up like a Viking. He's doing all these things. And then all of a sudden, he goes to a QVC casting after drinking a beer, sitting at the bar in his Viking outfit after the parade. And he's like, here's a buddy telling him like that QVC's in town and he's going to get a sales job on QVC. And he's like, no, man, like I will bet you right now that I go and get that job. Like I'll go land that job. And I think he bet him like $100, I think he said, or something. And so then he goes down there for the interview and they're like, sell me this pencil or talk about this pencil. and he said, okay, but for how long? And they said, until I tell you to stop. And literally the thing was, if you could talk about a pencil for 8 minutes, you were automatically hired. And so he goes on there and talks about that pencil for 8 minutes and gets hired on QVC. And the next thing you know, he's working his way up into television and he's doing, I think he said newscasting for somebody. I think it was Portland. I think he said Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
He was newscasting out there because like he went from QVC to over there, and during that time they went out to do some report on the sewage system, and they realized that when they were in all of the muck and everything that was down there, they were just like, this is disgusting. But it was the most tuned in thing that people had watched. And so then he had this crazy idea to start a show called Dirty Jobs and show like the dirtiest things people do for money. And lo and behold, man, it blew up for him. And like that was such an entertaining thing to see, because when you see somebody that comes from absolutely nothing and then they make it to the level of success that Micro has, like it's inspiring, and he's not necessarily some business mogul out there, starting some tech company or doing something huge and buying private jets and stuff. But as far as sitting there and just saying, dang, like that's really cool.
Yeah.
That like most people could listen to that and say, man, like I could really make it. Like I could do something successful.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have a sought out plan. He didn't start something. He didn't have anybody's money, or anything else. He didn't come from rich parents, or anything like that. And so that was really cool. So when I just, you asked me that question, it's hard because there's so many people there that I loved and were super entertaining. But when I think about it, I think of him, because that was just a very interesting presentation that he put on up there, just sitting there talking. He's a great storyteller. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's who I would say. Now for business advice and things like that, I would definitely choose somebody else. But you didn't see GrowthCon and you missed out, you can get the recording for $97.
Oh, there's the plug. Nice.
Worth it.
Nice. Yeah, Micro is awesome. And matter of fact, when you were talking about your brother and how he was struggling to find his passion, and he wanted to do something in his passion, I think it was Micro that said that. He was saying your passion should follow you, instead of you trying to look to make money on your passion. It should follow you with what you're doing, and eventually it will come into play when it's supposed to happen.
Right.
Something of that nature. But Micro's real good.
I think it should follow you, not lead you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Micro.
I mean, like I said, I think a lot of people don't know their passion. That they say I like this, but they can't I don't know a really good example right now, but like let's just assume it's I don't know. I like hiking. I like to go hiking. I went hiking today. Took my dog, took my wife. We love hiking out here in the mountains. But that's never going to make me mega successful hiking, And look, my dog loves it. If you say that, he loves it. He came running. He thought we were going.
That's funny.
We love it. That's his trigger word. And so, I mean, but I understand for me, unless I plan on starting some kind of like travel company that does hiking and like I'm going to be like a hiking guide the rest of my life, that's not going to be how I make the type of success that I want. And I'm realistic enough to look myself in the mirror and say, dude, you like hiking, but that's a hobby.
Yeah.
Like that's not how you're going to make yourself successful. And I think a lot of people, just like my brother, they need to realize that. Like just because you love doing it doesn't mean that you can't turn it into a business, but it also doesn't mean that you should. So you got to be really smart and think about it and think to yourself, okay, what do I love doing, and can I do that for money? And if I can do it for money, how much can I get? What are the possibilities here? And is that realistic? But while you're doing that, I highly suggest you do what I said earlier, and you go find a high paying job. It pays a lot of money. You go try out those jobs, make you some money, and then you can go try to do the passion business on the side until you can get some traction, and then quit the other job and blow it up.
Nice. Yeah, I love that, man. The other thing Micro talked about that I really he talked about was building your toolbox, as he put it, like his grandpa's toolbox he referred to.
Right.
That's a great, and then kind of how you described how he went from opera to QVC in the sewers to finally having a good idea like that. That's a perfect example of him building out his toolbox. You know what I mean? He's reaching up. And he's just trying things that are uncomfortable and just feeling out things in general, which is kind of what you were really kind of talking about with people like maybe in your brother's situation is, you got to just put the feelers out there, just try things. That's what you need to do. Don't put yourself in a paralysis.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to overthink it. Just make an educated decision.
Yeah.
You know, go find things that make money, research them, Google it, research them, go try a bunch of different things and find out if any of them stick. And if they don't, start over. Not going to be the end of the world. Worst case scenario, you end up doing what you're doing right now, which you don't clearly like. Because if you liked it or loved it, you wouldn't be trying to change anything.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, I did have that question, like, how has the 10X 360 program, rather, affected you and your business so far? I think you might have answered that. Not quite sure, but like, what's the best value you've got out of that so far? What's the most noticeable impact that's had on you?
So we haven't done the 360 yet. We paid for it. I was supposed to be there this weekend, but like I said, we had some business things come up. We got some people that are supposed to be flying in here this upcoming week, and the 10X 360 is this weekend. And so they're probably still going to be here over the weekend, and it doesn't make much sense for me to go to the 360 instead of meet with these people, because it's a very important meeting for our business. It could be a slingshot opportunity where we're just gonna shoot so far forward so quick that it's not worth telling them to postpone the meeting with a chance of it not, like, the deal that we're trying to work not going through. So what we're gonna do is just postpone from this weekend going to 360 and Miami, and we're gonna postpone and go to Washington to Brandon's house, because he's doing one in July right before my birthday. He's also doing a 10X pitch there. So I've already bought their 10X pitch program. It's $2,000, 8 videos. It's online through cardinalventures.com. And I've done that. And if you buy that, but then you want to go to the in-person 10X pitch, they'll give you a $2,000 credit. It's $10,000 for 2 days, so $5,000 a day. But they'll give you that $2,000 credit, and it goes down to $8,000 total. So I'm thinking about signing up for that, because it's at the same time the 360 is. And then that way I can go and stay through the 10X pitch and the 360 all at once and be at Brandon's house in Washington. Been to Miami a bunch, seen Grant's office a bunch, been to the Turnberry a bunch, doing all their events. I've done a ton of stuff with them. And recently, this past weekend, just went out to Scottsdale, Arizona. They rented out a resort there, and it was great. I did the marketing with Buck Wise out there. Like I said, that's $5,000 for a 2-day event, and it's worth every dime, especially for somebody that's got their own business. You're sitting there trying to figure out how to bring in more clients. Spend that money, because like, you put $5,000 out, and if he makes you just a couple deals throughout the year, it already paid for itself. Yeah. And the goal is for it to make massive amounts of deals per unit. 10X is the investment. But anyway, so we've seen Scottsdale events, we've seen Miami events now. I'm excited to go out to Washington to check out his house. So we're going to do the 360 there. But all in all, when you buy the 360, you do get access to what's called Roundtable. And it's a weekly mentoring call on Zoom with the other people that are in the 360 program. And we've already gotten immense value off those trainings just by themselves. So, it really isn't a question of what it's done for us so far that I could answer, because we haven't really had a chance to do it quite yet. But I can say that I know for a fact, based on all of the deliverables that they've given me so far and all the value they've provided on the amount of money that I've given them, I know that it's going to crush it.
Nice.
Hiking, baby. I'm sorry, baby.
Got it.
You heard.
I'm all hyped up on the hiking. Yeah. That's funny. Scottsdale, Arizona.
What's that?
Oh, I was going to say in Arizona, that's where, because I'll be going there in August for the business summit. Is that part of the program you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's not part of 360, but I signed up for it after GrowthCon. So when I was at the scaling event with Brandon about 3.5 weeks ago now, I think it was, I signed up for 10X pitch and 10X marketing. It's at the business summit. So when you go to the business summit, are you doing people, finance, or marketing, or are you doing the one where you get a little bit of each one?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. I thought business summit was its own. I didn't know it was divided. So I actually don't know that question or the answer to that.
Yeah. So you just want to call and ask them. But yeah, so they do one where you can go to marketing for 2 days, people and hiring, like where you're learning how to build your organization up for 2 days, or you can do finance. Each one is $5,000 for 2 days. Or what they do is they give you a little bit of each one throughout the 2 days, and I don't know how much that costs. I never even was offered that ever. And I'm glad I didn't, because I just wanted to go for marketing right now. Because I also own a marketing and web design agency. So we wanted to go do as much marketing with them as possible. Like I've already done Cardone's marketing with Alan, his main marketer. And then we did Buck Wise's stuff. And they're two very different programs. And I suggest anybody that wants to get involved with marketing with those guys, do both of those programs.
Nice. I forgot. What's Alan's last name? Because I think I met him for the first time on the licensee program. He hopped on and was talking to us.
I think it's
Lazar. Yeah. I like that guy, man. I like him a lot.
He's pretty cool, man. He's made a whole lot of money in marketing, man. Ever since he was 18, he's making $1 million or more every single year. So, I mean, that guy knows his stuff. He's really cool, and I like him a lot.
I like him too. I can tell he knows his stuff. That's for sure, man.
Right. I like Buck Wise a whole lot, man. That dude's cool. So when you're at the People's thing, tell him they said Charles. Hey.
Yeah, man, for sure, absolutely. That's what's cool about the licensee. Everybody keeps hopping on. Jared Glant did the whole licensee because we're on there every Friday, every morning as well, to kind of hold each other accountable and get some strategy things going on. Last week, or not last week, but yesterday was Jared Glant, and the week before that was Alan Lazar. Is it Alan?
Yep, Alan. Yep.
Alan Lazar was on there, and then I don't know if you've met Elliot.
Elliot works with Alan on the computer a lot.
Yeah. Sure. He's a pretty cool guy too, man. He's the one that onboarded me to the licensee program. So all those guys are super sharp.
Yeah, they're all great, man. They did a good job at building the culture up there and all that. So
absolutely. Brandon's, I thought he was in Portland, Oregon, but you said he's in Washington, huh?
Yeah, it's maybe. Dude, let me see. I want to say it's Washington.
Now I'm curious what city that's in. That's where we're streaming from right now, man.
Yeah, it's let me see here. Oh. I like clicked on here and they got pop-ups hit me. Asked me if I want the ebook. Hold on one second.
I got hit with one today about the mastermind and the helicopter ride. Did you get that one?
Yeah, it's in Washington.
Okay, I have never heard of that. Interesting.
Me either, man, to be honest with you. But yeah, so it's going to be at his house. They're doing a 10X pitch mastermind. That's the one I was talking about. So the 8th through the 9th on July is the 10X 360. And then the 10th through the 11th is the 10X mastermind pitch. And they got like you can't really see it, but there's like a little picture of his house. So if you go to grantcardone.com/events, you want to go check those out, man. If you want to join me, man, I'd love to see you there.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Oh yeah, so I see where it is. It's right across the Columbia River there. So it is technically right in there in Washington, right across the border.
Yeah, nice. They said it's gorgeous. So I'm excited to go out there and check it out.
It is really cool. The Columbia River is really cool right there. It's massively wide too, so pretty impressive.
Wow. Yeah, get out there and go do some fishing.
Yeah. There you go. Nice. So let me see what last questions do I want to dial in here as we're tapering off here. I do want to kind of use some of GC's quotes and find out what your thoughts are and kind of just go over that. So as you know, Grant Cardone likes to, he's got a lot of coined terms and sayings, which I love because they're quick one-liners that just fucking get right to you and they make you think, right? They're real profound and they get the gears turning as they should. But one of the ones you may have heard him say is success is your duty, right? You heard him say that a lot. So I want to know what, and then he even further says, in the training that I've been taking recently in the licensee program is that, treat success like it is your duty and your obligation and not like it's an option, right? How did that statement impact you personally when you heard that?
I think a lot about like going back to my family, like I mentioned earlier. I think about my family and generational wealth. I don't think so much about what I'm doing for me. I think about, my future family that I'm creating with my wife and my other family, father, mother, all brothers, sisters, all of them, and if you're not out there treating success like it's your duty and stuff, then you're not treating taking care of your family like it's your duty. And at least for me, the way that I was raised in Alabama, we're from the South. I know there's a lot of different culture everywhere else, around the country, but at least where I was raised, the man of the house is the person who's supposed to be the provider and the protector. And in my eyes, it's my duty and obligation to go out and make sure that my family can have the things that I want them to be able to have the best things. And I'm not necessarily talking about luxury items. I'm talking about being able to give my children the safest communities, the best school and education, give my family the access to the best healthcare, things like that. And if you don't have money, then what do you have? You don't have choices. You have defaults. This is what we're defaulted to do because I'm not successful. And like Bill Gates says, if you're born poor, that's not your fault. But if you die poor, that is your fault. And so if you want to actually be able to give your family a better life and actually be the one that helps to provide and take care of them, you have to be successful. It doesn't matter if you want money to buy a Lamborghini or a Rolls-Royce truck or a Rolex or whatever the thing may be, a yacht. It doesn't matter. I mean, I've had to explain this to people many times. They're like, well, I just don't care about getting rich. Like, I don't want to buy those things. And I'm like, but everything on this planet, at least, requires you to have money. You're just one accident away from being in debt for the rest of your life. You're just one medical emergency away from being in a very crappy situation for a very long time, if not the rest of your life. So you better get some money and you better get some success and you better treat it like it's your duty to do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about. I got this guy's water bottle with that exact quote on it, and I'm drinking out of it all the time. I just ran out of water. My wife brought me a little life. We're drinking out of it on the beginning of the podcast. So, you got to have money to do those things. And if you don't have success, then you don't have money. And without money, you have defaults. You don't have choices. You don't have freedom. So like it's your duty. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that impacted you as much as it did me and everyone else, I think, as well, because that's such a good saying. Like I said, he's got a ton of them, but that's definitely one that always sticks with my mind as well. I think,
right.
And what you were saying, I feel like people, when they like to make those sayings, nice little sayings like, well, money doesn't buy happiness. I don't really think a lot of money is going to make me happy. And, it's those kind of negative remarks is basically someone just trying to make sense of why they're trying to make sense of their own life and why they actually aren't living to their full potential. They know deep down in the back of their mind that they could do more, they should do more, but they're just coming up with excuses, really, is what it is. And
right.
So,
it might buy happiness, it might not. I'll leave that up for anybody else, but it does buy good schooling, it does buy good health care. It does give you the ability to give your family the best of what life has to offer. And like I said, at least on this planet, maybe not when we go to Mars with Elon Musk, but right now, you've got to have money to be able to supply for your family. And I don't want my family, not being able to have choices, So I hope anybody out there that's listening, don't want your family to be restricted. You want them to be as free as they possibly can. And money's going to allow you to offer them that. So go get it.
Yeah, Grant Cardone, he also says, you're selfish if you're not, fulfilling you're treating your success as a duty. It's really just being selfish.
Right. Yeah.
And then Dan Pena, you kind of reminded me of Dan Pena, because his reaction to, money doesn't buy happiness is, well, money doesn't buy happiness. That's true, but poverty never buys shit either. That always stuck with me too.
Yeah. Dan also says if you think money doesn't buy happiness, then you don't know where to shop.
Nice.
Yeah, I've really dropped that a time or two. So yeah, I mean, being rich don't buy happiness, but being broke doesn't buy anything.
Exactly.
So, it's all about how you look at it. But I think the first thing that people need to get right is their mindset. Before they can get right on anything else, they got to get their mindset.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen just by listening to motivational stuff. To get your mindset right, like, yeah, you can start with motivational stuff, but you got to go out there and actually do something and build up that confidence that makes you feel great about yourself, about your ability to go out there and do whatever you're wanting to do. Because without going out and building that confidence, you're not going to do anything. It's like if you never talked to a girl before. You're just not going to go up and just start talking and be slick Rick over here, sharp as a tack, crushing the game. You're just not going to do it. It doesn't work that way. You got to have some repetition, and that repetition brings confidence, and confidence ultimately brings better results. So, that's just how I look at it, and I know a lot of other successful people look at it that way.
Absolutely. What's one thing you would encourage like someone to do to maintain that positive mindset? Is there anything specific that's worked for you in your life? Something simple, maybe?
Make your goals important enough to you. Like if you dig deep and you think about the goals that you want to achieve, and don't write stupid things down. Like don't write down, well, I want to have a Lamborghini and I want to have a mansion and but those things are great. But why do you want those? Why do you want those things? Because if there's not a big why, then there's not going to be a big drive. So you've got to find something that makes you want to accelerate. Why do I want this? And if it's important enough to me, then when I have shitty days, because you are going to have shitty days. You are. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter what field, what career, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a ball player, if you're an athlete, whatever. Doesn't matter. You're going to have crappy days. But what gets you through those crappy days to make you want to get repetitions in and consistency and get better and actually keep pushing, or if you haven't even gotten started, one thing that will get you started to conquer those fears that you have is having a big enough why. And that comes with setting your goals around that why. Why do I want these things? For some people, it could be helping their parents out. Why do I want to help my parents out? Because even though they didn't have a lot, they try to give me the best life that they could. That could be the reason for them. I'm not talking for me. I'm just talking in general. It could be your parent or another loved one is sick and you want to be able to help them. That's a strong why. Because every day when you get punched in the face with fear, anxiety, loss, the things that are just making you want to crawl on a hole somewhere and die because you're just terrified to go do these things, you will find the courage to go and move forward and conquer whatever it is you're trying to conquer that ultimately gets you the goal of helping that person. So start with those things, figure out what your why is and set your goals around that. And then ultimately that'll get you started. And if you've already gotten started, you just need to excel, get that nailed down, and help you get there.
Yeah. So I get this question sometimes from a lot of my close circle. You probably do as well. If you have, because like you said, it's kind of hard to surround yourself with just a ton of high performance individuals. You're going to have some people in your circle that might, not be as ambitious and may even be negative. They ask me, like, hey man, how do you stay motivated? Like, what do you do to keep yourself motivated? So I want to ask you that, like, what's some of the real specific things, or one thing even that you do to help you stay motivated, whether it's writing your goals down, whether it's carrying that water that says success is my duty on it. What always gets your attention with, like, here we go, I got to keep my focus and stay motivated every day?
I just look back at my why. I just look back at my why, and I think about those that I want to bring joy to. I want to give the best life to. It goes back to what I was saying about that. And then, to be more in detail about something I haven't spoke about, I made a canvas. I designed a canvas that's right over my desk at my office. And it says, don't quit.
Nice.
Period. It just says, don't quit with a period after it. And because that's all you have to remember. If you fail, you can learn, you can use it as a learning block. You can learn from that. and you can use it to grow and improve. But if you quit, then you're done. Yep. And you're never going to succeed. You're never going to get there. So there's a big difference between failure and quitting. And I just always think about those people and then remember every time I look up from my desk, don't quit.
Yeah, that's good stuff. What is your, I'm curious, this is a question for me. Cause I haven't found this balance for me. I hear GC talking about this quite a bit, but what's like your sleep schedule look like, man? How do you, I mean, if you're anything like me, I'm up late sometimes. I'm up early in the morning. There's some days I'm running on 4 hours of sleep, which is not good. Right. And I feel like, I just have to do that because there's work that's built up that I need to just start chipping away at. And sometimes working late at night is the only time I get as a single dad, Right. What's your sleep? How do you, I hate using the word balance because, that's you already know Cardone frowns upon that word balance. He likes to encourage out of balance. What's your perfect schedule look like, or what's your schedule like normally now?
It depends on what we're doing. I normally get in bed about 12 to 1 o'clock. On nights that I get to bed earlier, it's because we were up till 12 or 1 o'clock working. Like my wife and I are always working, like always. We take time to go out to the mountains and take the dog up and we do all that stuff, but we don't, we're young. I'm 28. My wife is 27. We don't go party. We don't go drink and get drunk as hell. We just don't do those things. We don't smoke pot. We don't do that. Like I used to do that back when I was younger. I would never do anything like that now because it jeopardizes what I have going on.
Yeah.
And, nothing wrong with anybody that wants to, smoke it up. I get it. Like I'm in Colorado. I probably get it more than most. But I totally understand that you might want to do that, but you've got to prioritize yourself. You've got to put, what's most important and then put that in front. And so with our schedule, that's kind of how we roll is what's most important. Tonight, we need to be in bed a little bit earlier because we've got a super early meeting and we have to get to the gym before we do that, or we have to do this, or we have to do. So normally average schedule is about 12 or 1 o'clock. And then we're up and out of the bed at normally that 8 a.m. type of range. Now, could it be earlier if we have other obligations? Absolutely. But that's the schedule that pretty much works best for us because we'll get home late. We'll normally do dinner about 9 o'clock or so. And some people could say, well, that's not healthy for you. Well, that's what's working for us right now. So we get home from the gym and then we do dinner here. And like I said, we sit down, have dinner, and we'll watch something like $1 Million Listing or Undercover Billionaire was something we were just watching for a little while. We finished it up, I think, a few weeks ago now. But we'll do that, and then we'll pop open the computers and the iPads, and we'll get to work for a little bit and plan out our day for the next day. Because it's always easiest if you're planning for the next day the night before. And that way you wake up and you know what you're doing. You've got some things on your list that you're trying to achieve and get done, and you can look forward to getting those things done. And then it'll also make you feel a lot better about yourself. You get like the 5 most important things that you want to achieve the next day. You don't focus on doing anything else until you get those 5 things done. Get those 5 things done, you'll feel like you had an awesome day. But when you put too many things on your schedule the night before for the next day, you're like, man, I'm going to have an awesome day tomorrow. Looking forward to smashing all these things. And then you get there and you complete maybe 2 or 3 of them and the rest is crap and you feel like you had an awful day. That's not good for your confidence and that's not good for your mental state. So it just come up with those 5 needle movers that are going to improve your business or whatever it may be, improve your day if you're an employee, whatever. And get those 5 things done, and then you'll feel great about your day. And after that, start all over and make sure you're doing something worth your while, because if not, you're going to get caught in that rat race and then you're going to feel terrible. Your schedule ain't going to be like mine. You're going to probably want to go home and crack a beer or smoke a J or something, but when you got big goals and you're moving towards those things, you don't have time for that stuff. You're pushing forward and you're going strong and you feel good about yourself. And the people around you feel good about being with you. and they know you're serious, and they're serious too. And so it makes you feel real great. You don't need any outside influences. So.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. I'm glad. It sounds like, yeah, me and you have a lot in common, even, you know, with your growing up a little bit. I don't know. You know, I think everybody's gone through their phases, you know what I mean? Whether it's smoking or drinking or things that distract you from, you know, being a good individual and moving towards goals that are actually meaningful. But I can totally relate. And that's one of the things that hooked me with Cardone when he started talking about his addiction problems. Because, you know, I smoked weed for 25 years, and I just quit it. You know what I mean? I realized that, like you said, I have way more ambition, and I just don't have time for it. And I realized that stuff just slows me down, distracts me, and I've been much more efficient, effective. It's just the momentum is just constantly going when you don't have that shit really just fogging up your mind. You know what I mean?
Right. That was my problem with it, is I couldn't move as fast, and I was worried about stuff I shouldn't be worried about.
Yeah.
And it's just silly. It's just silly. Like, I mean, when I quit cold turkey. Yeah, me too. And never thought about it ever again, because I mean, my why is important enough, you know. And like I said, I live in Colorado. Everybody does it. Yeah, it's not a big deal. But at the same time, it is a big deal for those that want to achieve their goals. And if they think like, well, you know, I'm super successful, I'm already, you know, I smoke and I'm super successful. I can tell you, if you're successful smoking weed and you stop, man, you're going to be mega successful.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to go light years from where you're at right now. Like, you think you're successful right now, you're going to be at a whole different ballpark next time you look at yourself, like a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just how I look at it. You know, no worries if that's what you want to do. But I can say if you're busy doing that and I'm not, I'm going to beat you.
Yeah.
So
that's powerful stuff, saying that stuff, because when you're doing it, you think, you know, that you're like, even me, I was probably more productive than your average stoner. I did do a lot of big accomplishments. But once I started the self-improvement path and I started really just consuming Cardone's content and other people's content, like David Goggins, Stefan Arnio, a lot of these people I really highly admire, I realized I was really shackling myself, no matter how much I was kidding myself that I was doing well for a stoner. I was really restricting myself. So that stuff that you said is real powerful for people who are still in it. To hear, you know what I mean? You gotta clear the mind, get rid of this shit, get rid of it for like a good 30 days, reevaluate, and just start restructuring your plan, your schedule, and just watch how much more you're gonna get done. It's night and day.
Yeah, and you'll save money too. If you're smoking as much as I would today, you're gonna save a bunch more money and put that into investments instead.
Oh yeah, I was right there with you, man. So yeah, glad to hear I love hearing that stuff, because I don't know who that was at the 10X, but one of the guys that talked about I think it was a construction company, Mike something. But I remember he talked about he was just sitting at home smoking weed, and he's seen a YouTube video of Grant, and ended up, you know, quitting drinking, smoking, and all that, and he completely has been able to transform his business and scale it tremendously. I love stories like that, you know what I mean? Like people that have just completely 360, because sometimes it's hard when you're just in that fog constantly. You just don't even know what's possible because you're too busy stimulating yourself, you know?
Right. Yeah. It's not a good situation. Sure.
Absolutely. So I'm going to give you a couple more questions and we'll start tapering off, because one thing I don't want to do is go past the 2 hour mark, because then I can't post if you go over 2 hours, you can't post it to Spotify and things like that, which I learned the hard way. I was like, why is it not letting me post this? And that's why.
What are we looking like on time right now?
Oh, we still got like 10-15 minutes. So cool. We started at 8:50 and we're 9:30, so there's really like 17 minutes or so.
Right. I was trying to keep the answers short here.
Yeah, no worries, man. There's a lot of powerful stuff and meaningful stuff with substance that we're talking about here. So I want to make sure I definitely post this. And I like doing that. I like being able to post it and boost it, and edit it a little bit later so that people can listen to it at any time they want. And we'll plug some of your stuff, get you tagged up in it in case they want to learn a little bit more about you or your company or what you're all about. So get us all set up with that. What I would say, let's see. So this is kind of just a kind of cool question. So if you're like a billionaire, or let's say you said you want to hit 10 million revenue a year, right? Let's just say you're making 10x that. You're getting 100 million a year revenue. What would your ideal day look like for you? Now you don't have money's not an issue really at that point, right? How would you structure the perfect day or the perfect week? What would you like that to look like?
So honestly, like I would want to help more people through a litany of different programs, right? I would want to go ahead and help business owners, obviously, because if I've made it to that level of success, I would obviously feel like I should give back and help as many people try to achieve that or some level of that success, whatever that may be for them. If it is $100 billion, then, or 100 million, whatever the number is, be 100,000 a year. Some people would be ecstatic to have 100 grand a year. If I could just help them get whatever it is that they're wanting to get and then show them that they can go beyond that, that would be like the best feeling ever. And so that would be one aspect. And then helping people that are underprivileged around the world. There's a lot of causes that money could fix all around the world. And that's why I admire Elon so much. And now thinking about it, I hate that I said, the three that I said the other minute ago about three influential people. Elon's definitely there is not just three. But when I was thinking about entrepreneurs, I'm thinking those guys as far as who's helped me learn stuff. But when I think about the guy that inspires me the most and helps show that there's no level of success that you can have where you should just stop. There's so many things you could do that are massive that could help so many people on a just insane scale. And that's Elon Musk. And this guy's doing so many things that are great for so many people. And then you got Bill Gates. Now I know he gets hated on a lot. People say, this guy's like an evil villain or whatever with these vaccines and stuff. And I could see why people say that. But one of the coolest things when I was watching a documentary on him that I learned was he was trying to figure out how to fix the water systems in Africa. And at least, it was Africa, because they'd already done a bunch of vaccines over there, trying to help out with a lot of the sicknesses and stuff they got going on over there. So he was trying to figure out, because in America we have toilets and we have running water for those toilets, and it's very easy, but they don't have a system in place like that in Africa. So here this guy is, it's worth tons of money. You could just go live on an island somewhere, anywhere on the planet you wanted to, build a crazy castle, fortress, whatever you want to call it, and just live the rest of his days and never think twice. I mean, the guy can buy anything, right? And instead, what he's doing is he's worried about people that are on the other side of the planet, and he's trying to help them. And so with that kind of money, man, what I would want to do is not only help business owners, but help underprivileged folks. And the best way that I could, if we could help solve some more problems for people around the world, that'd be great. And so this goes back to what I said earlier. I would be very passionate about helping business owners. I'd be very passionate about helping other people that are in rougher conditions than we are here in America. But that's not what I'm trying to do to get there. I have to go get money first. And I have to be able to do the things I'm trying to achieve for my legacy here. And then if we conquer those things, ultimately, as a result, we will be able to do better for the world. And so if I've got money like that, then my week is not going to be scheduled around trying to make my business great anymore. I would pull the Bill Gates move. I'm going to let somebody else step in. You run Microsoft. I'm going to go try to help the world. And so that's ultimately what I would do, is try to see how I can help and leave the greatest legacy. And ultimately, I think that's what Grant's doing right now. Grant's at the level of success right now where he's got the Grant Cardone Foundation, and they're going out trying to help everybody that they can possibly reach as far as, underprivileged children right now. And I think that's great. It's respectable, and it's for his legacy, So that's ultimately what I think that, I would do with that type of money, even 10 million a year. That's well more than enough money to have the connections and the know-how to go out and help those people the way that they deserve. And I think if more people would pull together right now, it wouldn't take one person with a bunch of money. This takes a lot of people with a little money that are willing to help, and then somebody leading the helm to make that change happen. And that's ultimately what we all need to do, especially in times right now that we're in with our country, and even all around the world. We all need to come together and realize that we're all a team,
Yeah.
It's not about skin color. It's not about what you believe in. We're the human race. We're one team. We need to all come together and we can make great things happen way more than we ever realized. So.
Yeah, that's great advice, man. I like to hear that. I just like the helping attitude that you have. You know what I mean? A lot more people need to think that way, because we would be a much better planet. We wouldn't be fighting and looking for things to complain about, looking for problems. You know what I mean? There's problems we can solve instead of creating problems. And I like the mindset that you have on that, because I can relate to that as well. I like that. So I'm gonna hit you with one more question, and then we'll bring it down. So I talked last week on the podcast about expectations, and it's one of those things where I do a lot of podcasts by myself, so I wish I had some of this stuff to bounce off of people more. So you're like the perfect person to talk to about it, but we won't spend too much time on it. But basically, the majority of people have low expectations, right? For whatever reason, maybe sometimes people have deliberate low expectations so they're not disappointed with, the outcome or whatever. And they probably learn that from friends, family, society, like I have. I've been there, and I had to reframe my mindset. Do you think that people should raise their expectations? And if so, what will that do for a person and their goals?
I think that a lot of it has to do with self-esteem and character. And those things are built in the first 6 to 7 years of life. And kids are around their parents the first 6 to 7 years of life, more than anyone else. And I think it's our job as adults. I don't even have kids yet, but I can attest to how my father raised us, and you've got kids, so you can probably agree with this. It's our job as adults to be the leaders and to make sure that we're molding these young individuals the right way as they come up, so that they don't have low expectations, so they don't believe that I can't do that, or well, that's not going to happen anyway, so I might as well not even try.
Yeah.
I think it's our job as adults and leaders to be a great leader and to be a great example and to set that tone in that individual's mind. And as they're growing, we're sculpting them into being a person that says, look, that's what I want to go do, and I'm going to go do it. Do you know how? No, but I'm going to figure it out. And ultimately, I think that that's how we're going to improve as the human race in general. It applies to everybody. It's how we're raising our kids and setting that up. Now, for the individuals that are already older, and that's kind of already in their DNA, their system, you're just going to have to break out of your comfort zone. Yes, you absolutely should raise your expectations. You should absolutely raise your goals. You should absolutely strive for more, because there's no shortage of it anywhere on the planet. And if you believe that, then just trust me for a month and go out and try to extend whatever it is that you normally would want to do, and try to get more and see what happens. See if it works out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Love that. Love expectations. That's something I always encourage people. And yeah, I definitely treat my daughter, dude, she watches Grant Cardone's she's 8 years old. I only have one daughter. And I'm a single dad. So everything that I do, she does with me. And so
that's great.
If I could have took her to the 10X Growth Con, she would have wanted to. I mean, she was jealous she couldn't go. You know what I mean? And I showed her a video of like Sabrina talking and stuff. She was like, "Oh man," she was all super jealous. So yeah, it's great to teach kids, these messages. And I'm real hopeful for your child when you do have children, man. You're gonna definitely be a sharp dad and provide them a lot of value and get them going on the right path. So good on you for getting that going, man. So let's see. Yeah, so we'll bring it on down to a close. There is a ton of questions I didn't get to, but that's just how I roll, man. I'll write down like 30 questions, and it's better to have too much than not enough, you know.
Right.
But we'll.
If you ever have me back on in the future, you got those questions, man. I'm always happy to come back on and I'll answer all of them.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that. So what I want to eventually do is once I get a little more deep into the licensee program, I'm gonna ultimately probably just convert the Virus podcast into my like a I don't know, a coaching free 1 hour coaching session, because my added free value with my pitch is going to be something like, you know, hey, I'm going to do a weekly strategy session or whatever I'm focused on, you know what I mean, like managing time, expectations, you know, one of all these topics that we went over. I do a 1 hour podcast on just that topic, and it'd be cool to have people that are involved in the 10X community on every so often to, you know, join anybody who's, you know, getting onboarded new to just kind of riff with us and listen to us talk. I think there's a lot of value in these conversations, man. So yeah.
Hey, I'm game. You just let me know when, and I'm there, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I know your game, man. I really appreciate that, and I will definitely be in touch with you again. We'll make it happen. We'll stay in contact. I like you. You're a good guy, and I like what you're doing, man.
Likewise, brother. Well, I appreciate you, Benjamin.
Absolutely. So I'll give some plug. First of all, where can everybody find you, man? Why don't you start throwing some plugs out?
Man, you guys can find me on Instagram at Charles Hearn Official. You can also find me on Twitter at Hearn Official. And then if you want to learn more about Timeshare Help Source, if you know somebody that has a timeshare that they're wanting out of, you can always visit www.timesharehelpsource.com. That is timesharehelpsource.com. And they can fill out a contact form there or just a qualification form. And one of my team members will get in touch with them immediately, and we will get them the help they deserve.
Nice. There you go, guys. Hit him up, reach out to him, give him some love, like, follow, share. And furthermore, if you want to see this podcast, I'll post some posted content on clips of this when I get a moment. But until then, you'll see the live stream that we just did now on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube if you want to catch the whole episode to watch it. And also give us a follow, like, subscribe, share, and spread the love. Let's keep this momentum rolling. Let's keep the like we were talking about. Let's keep that train churning and chucking away, man.
Right.
Well, cool, man. Yeah, and thanks again. I can't thank you enough, man. I know it's getting late here, and I know that you're a little bit later over there too. So I really appreciate that you staying up for me and making it happen.
Hey, no worries, brother. I appreciate you.
All right, man. Well, you take care, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you around in one form or another, man. We're in the same community, so.
I'll see you here soon, Ben. I appreciate you. God bless you, sir.
Take care. Have a good night, dude.
All right, you too. Bye.
See ya.